So it's Thanksgiving Day, and I decided to take a moment and go ahead and record my mom's delicious sweet potato recipe. It's the best sweet potato pie I've ever had, and I thought I would share it with you all. It's not really related to hair, but I think you guys are really going to like this. Started with 6 sweet potatoes. We baked them on 350 for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, but you can always test them with a little
just squeeze them, or you can squeeze them to see if they're soft.
Yeah, so my mom's talking in the background here too, so she's going to help me out. So then you go ahead and puree the sweet potatoes really well.
And the reason you bake them rather than boil them, because if you boil them, they'll absorb water and make your pie a little watery.
And if you decide you want to boil them, that's fine, but baking them, we've always found they taste a lot better. And once you puree them, my sister came up with a little trick where she takes the strings out of the sweet potatoes, where while pureeing, she stops in between and she lifts up the mixer, and then she rinses the strings in water, like just right under the sink. And that makes for a much smoother pie. So thanks, Daphne, for that. After the pureeing, then you want to go ahead and add 2.5 sticks of butter. We use real butter, but you can use Smart Balance if you want to save calories. I don't know why you would save calories if you're eating pie, but we use butter. So we go ahead and puree that together. And this is what it's going to look like as it purees. So it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to puree that some more, but in the interest of time, I'm going to move forward. Then what we do is we're going to add all of the, I'm thinking I should add all of the liquid ingredients first, yes? Or the dry ingredients? Probably the dry ingredients first. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what Mother says. We added the butter because the sweet potatoes are hot, and so it helps to melt the butter very easily. So we'll go ahead and do the dry ingredients. So we're using 1 or 2 packets of jello instant pudding.
Not instant. Cook and serve. Cook and serve.
It's called instant pudding and pie filling right here. Jello instant. That's not the kind that she's saying she uses. So, that's the kind we're using today.
And today we're using that, but it's better to use the cook and serve rather than the instant.
This is her recipe, so I'm following her. And are we going to use 1 or 2?
2.
We're going to use 2 of those. Okay. We're going to add those in. And then we're going to use some brown sugar. And we'll use that brown sugar to taste. Basically, I just kind of eyeball it. And I'm going to eyeball maybe, I would say it's about a cup or a cup and a half.
Cup and a half.
Probably a cup and a half.
Yeah, that's good. Looks good.
And then we're going to add some cinnamon. And she uses this really organic, not organic, but really highfalutin is what I call it. It's called Saigon cinnamon, and she got it from Williams-Sonoma. But regular cinnamon is just fine.
Yeah, the Vietnamese cinnamon is the best, most cinnamony flavor.
I'm going to keep that jar.
Okay, you can keep that jar.
So, then we're going to use pumpkin pie spice. Pumpkin pie spice is a mixture of cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, mace, and cloves. But why buy all that when you can just use pumpkin pie spice? And I would give that about maybe 10 shakes. Alright. Then we're going to add, okay, those are all our dry ingredients. So you can go ahead and blend that up a little bit, just to kind of make a little bit more room in the bowl there. And then we're going to add our wet ingredients. Don't worry about the mess. And our wet ingredients consist of evaporated milk. Are we going to use this whole thing?
No.
Not the whole thing. We'll pour some now.
That's good. That's good.
And then as we go along, if we find that it's too dry, we can add more. Brandy is a key ingredient, folks, because when you bake the pie, it's actually going to give that extra flavor, and then it also creates kind of a nice crust over the top. And let me tell you, if you skip the brandy, you've missed the whole recipe. We're going to add a little bit of vanilla. We'll go ahead and add that. I'd say about 2 capfuls, because this is 6 potatoes, so maybe 4. Okay, so she's saying 4.
Yeah.
Her recipe again.
Yeah, because I do a lot of dashes.
She doesn't really measure. She's not a measuring person. She's kind of a Julia Childs. And then we did add brown sugar, but we want to kind of balance the brown sugar with a regular sweetener. We use agave for everything. We don't buy regular granulated sugar anymore because it's just an awful product, basically. Brown sugar is a pretty good product. It's not as good as agave, but we use agave for everything.
Yeah. At holidays, you got to have that brown sugar thing.
And how many eggs would you say we want to use?
About 4 or 5.
4 or 5 eggs.
Yeah, depends on the size of the
And
eggs.
just crack those babies right up in there. Alright, and that's all your ingredients. So you want to go ahead and blend this very thoroughly. We're not going to finish this recipe right here. I might post a photograph of the finished pies. And of course, you want to make sure that you purchase half and half, sorry, not half and half, heavy whipping cream to put over the top. Heavy whipping cream, you just pour it in a bowl, you whip it until it's completely fluffy, and then you add it to the top of your pie when it's all done. So you want to bake this pie at 350 degrees?
350 degrees, and make sure it's done. Stick in a toothpick or the clean end of a broom straw. And you want to err on the side of overcooking it.
Yes. I always like to see just a slight bit of crack in it, or if the top is really brown, because you know we're going to get that crust, then you know that it's ready. Because if you don't have a well-done sweet potato pie, you might as well be pumpkin. All right, so thanks for watching. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you love the pie. Try it out. Alrighty, so here are some pies that are just about done, that are getting ready to come out of the oven. And I just wanted to show you that we put foil around the edges before we put them in the oven in order to keep the crust from getting too dark. That's an important part of the recipe, so we just wanted to add that on. Now, let me show you. This is the pie coming out of the oven. We made a lot. And you see the foil around it. That's a good one. And you can see the cracking there. And then over here is a finished pie ready to be cut. Look how beautiful that is. And you see the cracking here? This is how you know it's done. Okay? And it also has a very firm, if you shake it and it wiggles, you know it's not done yet. So you want to keep it in there. And as my dad said like 10,000 times today, when is the pie the best, Papa?
Next day, overnight.
Okay, so don't eat the pie day one. Fix it the day before, he said. And he's kind of mad at me because he thought that his pie would have been done yesterday.
You do the little foil thing?
Yes, I did the foil thing. And then here's my mother. She's the creator of the recipe. And so, any last parting words?
No. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't even.
And I made a nice whipped cream made from whole milk. It was from the carton. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and look for more videos. Have a great Thanksgiving.